Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another JVS movie review. Today we are bringing you the latest Tom Hanks blockbuster, this time being brought to you by Apple Plus as they bought the rights from Sony Pictures for this amazing wartime drama named Greyhound. Now, quickly give you a synopsis on Greyhound before we get into the movie. U.S. Navy Colonel Ernest Krause is assigned to lead an Allied convoy across the Atlantic during World War II. His convoy, however, is pursued by German U-boats. Although this is Krause's first wartime mission, he finds himself embroiled in what would become known as the longest, largest, most complex naval battle in history, the Battle of the Atlantic. Now, again, this movie stars Tom Hanks, Stephen Graham, and Rob Morgan. Those are the big stars of it. It is directed by Mr. Ernest Schneider. I always wonder if I'm saying the guy's name right. I am not 100% sure. If you've never heard of him, it's because he's only done one movie before this movie. A movie a couple years ago called Get Low. I think it was with Robert Duvall and Bill Murray. And he's actually an Academy Award winner for Best Short Film. I think that was in like 2004, 2005. And this is Tom Hanks' first screenplay since the not-so-good Larry Crown. But I like to think of it as his first screenplay since Other Things You Do, because that's the movie that I like. Now, as we get into Greyhound and what makes this movie so special and so good, because this is a good movie, people. For a change, this is a really good movie, a really good wartime movie. Now, the movie starts off just showing you backstory of Ernest Krause. It shows him with his wife, him taking on his first wartime mission. Past that, it jumps right into everything that's happening. From the moment he gets on the ship, having to plot everything out, to we see his soldiers, we see his seamen, everything together, and how everything just goes to heck almost immediately. And that's what makes this movie so good, so special. It's that it kicks right into high gear right away. Now, this movie is only about an hour and 25 minutes, maybe an hour and 30 plus with credits, but an hour and 20 minutes long. So from the moment it starts to the moment it ends, it is nothing but this battle and everything that just comes along with it. Now, this movie, again, when it's directed by someone that's only his second film, you kind of question how good the direction would be. The direction is amazing in this movie. The performances are amazing in the movie, including like someone like Rob Morgan, who I mentioned, who has just a few scenes, but his character means so much to Krause, the character played by Tom Hanks, that it makes his short scenes more amplified, and that is really important for this film, because they want to kind of show you just the everyday man that Krause is in the film and everything he has to go through, and him caring as much for someone who was a cook as he cared for the people on the long guns or his second in command. All of that together really makes this a special film. Now, it's kind of clear that this is a lower budgeted war film. I think the budget for this film is around $50 million. And at times, even though it is relentless, breakneck paced action, big action scenes, you kind of at times see where the budget limited it. But it never gets to the point where it overtakes it, because it's not really CGI heavy. It looks like this is more practical effects than CGI effects. Kind of the opposite of if you saw Midway that released last year, where Midway was very CGI heavy, and because it had budget restrictions, it looked at times way too like crazy. This movie, budget restrictions, but it's clearly practical, a lot of the shots that they took, and it works even with a small budget like this. Again, it reminded me of Dunkirk. Let's say the first 30 minutes of Saving Private Ryan, where it's just constant action. Constant action is something that you need in these type of films. But the film is beautifully shot. The score hits right on the proper notes. Again, wartime movies aren't easy to score normally, because we kind of know how the rhythm hits. So you kind of look for something a little different. This film gives you that something a little different, and it could be because Tom Hanks, I mean, come on, he's possibly been starting what most people would consider the modern day standard for war films in Saving Private Ryan versus this one, which just feels like, okay, we're going to cut out all the things that made you care about that film and give it to you straight. And again, I can't speak enough of how amazingly plotted this film is. But quickly back to the story. So after Krause and them take over and a U-boat start hunting down their convoy, I think that's when you get more pictures of the captain that he is. Again, this is his first mission, and everything that drives him, you get to see in kind of these scenes as they constantly show the people from the mess hall bringing him food and him not eating, him not sitting, him feeling like he needs to control everything. And I think part of that plays into the psyche of that he was passed over so many times before he got this leadership role. Now that he has this leadership role, he's willing to do whatever it takes to keep it, even if it means destroying himself. And we see him make mistakes in this movie, costly mistakes in this movie, but still, you kind of always feel like he has complete control of the ship, even when it seems like his men don't believe he do. You kind of always feel like he has complete control of everything. Again, I'm definitely not going to give away much of the plot. If you've read the book, the name of the book that this film is based off of is The Good Shepherd by, I'm trying to get the guy's name right because he also wrote African Queen, which I really liked. C.S. Forrester is the writer of the original book that this movie is based off of, and that came out in the 50s sometime. And you can tell that Tom Hanks, in preparing the screenplay, took delicate care of that book because a lot of it translates over to the movie. And again, it works on so many levels. Now, is this an Oscar caliber film? No, not at all. This feels like a wartime summer popcorny flick escape time film, and that's what you kind of need right now. And it works so well in that vacuum that most films don't. So Greyhound, starring again Tom Hanks, Stephen Graham, Rob Morgan, brought to you by Apple Plus. Out of a possible 10, I'm gonna give this movie an 8.5 out of 10. Like, it works on so many levels that most of these films will never work on. You see, again, the way Midway faltered, you see a lot of other war films falter in the way that this one succeeds in just telling a direct war story. You don't have to give people the fluff that they don't need. You can just hit them straight with the story and lead into everything, and people will be perfectly fine. And that's what Greyhound does. It gives you the battles. It gives you the reason why they're battling, and that's it. We don't need to get you anything else. We don't need to give you this heartwarming backstory of these characters, which at times that's what takes me away from a lot of the war films, is when they attempt to give you that backstory. But this one doesn't. So check it out. It releases on Apple TV on July 10th. So check it out when it drops. Let us know what you think about it. This has been another JVS movie review. Peace, people.